I am a registered nurse, and I'm a very strong advocate for prior-free and informed consent. For most parents, meningitis strikes fear in their heart, and rightfully so, as it is a very rare but serious condition marked by inflammation of the membrane surrounding the brain and spinal cord. There are two types of meningitis, aseptic and bacterial. It is the reason behind the inflammation that differentiates the two. Aseptic meningitis may be caused by viruses, mycobacteria, spirochetes, fungi, medications, and cancer malignancies, while bacterial meningitis may be caused by any bacterium. So in 2015, the Ohio legislature added the meningococcal vaccine to the Ohio Revised Code 3313.671 under the guise that it would protect children from meningitis. Children in public school are now required to receive the first vaccine upon entering 6th or 7th grade, really once they're 11 years old, and a second upon entering 12th grade, unless the parent or guardian submits a written statement declining the vaccine. We have exemption rights in Ohio that include medical reasons and reasons of conscience, including religious conviction. According to the Ohio Department of Health, your child would receive either Menactra or Menveo, and these vaccines cover only 4 strains of the meningococcal bacterium, A, C, W, and Y, out of at least 12 known strain types. Fear is a very powerful motivator, but do you know there is only one antidote to fear, and that is knowledge. By the end of this presentation, you should be able to see clearly why adding this vaccine to the required list for Ohio children to attend public school will not protect them from meningitis. You will see that meningococcal disease is an ultra-rare infection that greater than 99.99% of Ohio children will never, ever see in their lives. You will see that the immunity gained from the vaccine is temporary and the risk is quite significant. So Doug, can I have the first slide, please? Very good, thank you. The information on this slide was taken from the Ohio Department of Health, the Annual Summary of Infectious Disease 2017, and it is available to the public from the Ohio Department of Health website. So the first 4 columns are meningitis cases that have occurred in Ohio between 2014 and 2017. So each column represents 1 year. Those first 4 columns are not going to be protected by a vaccine. The next 4 columns are the meningococcal bacteria that the medical professionals and the Ohio legislature are telling you will protect your child from meningitis. As you can see, the meningococcal, the actual meningococcal cases are exceptionally small. And remember, this law passed in 2015, so 2016 is the first year that it went into effect. There is no change there. If we further break down this information, and I did not include that on the slide, we're talking about, for the target age range, anywhere from 0 cases to 2. Okay. Can I have the next slide, please? So the 13th edition Epidemiology and Prevention of Vaccine-Preventable Diseases, also known as the CDC Pink Book, is developed by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention's National Center for Immunization and Respiratory Diseases and distributed exclusively by the Public Health Foundation. It provides updated vaccination and vaccine information to public health practitioners, healthcare providers, healthcare educators, pharmacists, nurses, and others involved in administering vaccinations. It is actually a very accurate source of expanding your knowledge about vaccine-preventable infections. And if you're having trouble sleeping at night, I do recommend you look it up on the internet and read some of the chapters. But this is information your healthcare providers should know. They should be reading this information. And so according to the CDC Pink Book, serious adverse events post-vaccination with an Ohio Revised Code required meningococcal vaccine and recommended by the CDC results in a 6.6% serious adverse event. These events resulted in death, life-threatening illness, hospitalization, prolongation of hospitalization, or permanent disability. Can I have the next slide, please? So on this slide, you can see, again, the first 4 columns are meningitis cases between 2014 to 2017. The next 4 are going to be the meningococcal cases, the vaccine that they tell you protects you from meningitis actually covers. And then the last 2 columns are serious adverse events that would occur if 100% of children were vaccinated with this vaccine. The first column is for the 6th graders, and the second column will be for the 12th graders. So, we have about 11 million people in the state of Ohio, and that results in a 0.00026% risk of contracting a meningococcal infection that would actually be covered by the so-called meningitis vaccine. Again, you have a 6.6% risk of serious adverse events post-vaccination from this vaccine. And in the CDC Pink Book, it even states that for the Ohio Revised Code recommended vaccine, the death rate from the manufacturer's own data was 0.3% to 0.4%. Clearly, you can see that the risk of accepting this vaccination is far greater than any conceived benefit that you might have. Can I have the next slide, please? So, this particular slide was taken directly from a Menveo package insert, and it includes indications, a package insert accompanies every vial of meningococcal vaccine, and it includes indications for its use, who should use it, adverse events, instructions for use, and safety information. This is stuff that your doctor and the nurses should also be reading, so they would technically know this information. This table demonstrates that vaccination does not equal immunization. So the area that I marked out on there is, when a pre-licensure study, they're trying to tell you if a vaccine actually works or not, they're looking at antibody production. So in this particular study, they were looking at vaccinated persons who had received either Menveo or Menactra, and 21 months post-vaccination. So less than 2 years later, what they found is that 23% to 84% of people aged 11 to 18 years still had an adequate antibody level to offer protection, depending on which vaccine was received in the strain type. That means that in less than 2 years, between 16% and 77% would not have adequate antibodies to offer protection against the meningococcal bacteria that's covered by the vaccine. So this vaccine has a very high serious adverse event rate. It is going to maybe offer protection from an ultra-rare infection. You're 0.00026% likely to ever contract. And it doesn't work. It doesn't last very long. And I just want to stress that when we hear in the news where they're throwing around the term of herd immunity, I just want you to take this information into consideration. We don't know how long somebody is going to hold on to their antibodies and how quickly that vaccine is going to wear off. And so vaccination rates do not equal immunization rates. If we wanted to see true immunization rates, we would require every person in this country to have their antibodies checked on an annual basis so we would actually know who was immune to an actual infection. So after careful consideration of the data, let's say that you decide you do not want your child to receive this vaccine because you've looked at the risk to benefit analysis, but your school district has told you it is required to attend school. What can you do? Earlier I stated that Ohio has legally protected exemptions to required vaccination, and you can find that law by searching for Ohio Revised Code 3313.671. According to Ohio law, a parent need only submit a written statement in lieu of the vaccine record to decline this vaccine or any other vaccine the parent decides is not in the best interest for their child. These rights to decline are constantly being threatened by medical trade organizations who seek to undermine a parent's ability to make their own risk to benefit analysis regarding their children and medical products for consumption. And as State Representative George Lane pointed out, these vaccine manufacturers have complete immunity from liability of their products. They are not responsible if something happens to your child. You cannot sue them for damages. So if protecting your right to say no to the meningococcal vaccine is important to you, I encourage you to seek out and get involved with and support your state organizations that stand for parental rights, informed consent, and health freedom, and get to know your state representative and your state senator and vote people in that are going to protect your parental rights, and they're going to respect your ability as an individual to make medical decisions for yourself and for your children who you are there to protect. So Ohio has two such groups. We have Health Freedom Ohio. I am the co-founder and president of this organization. And you can find us at healthfreedomohio.org. And there's also Ohio Advocates for Medical Freedom, and their website is ohioamf.org. And if you guys have any questions later on, just seek me out, and I would be more than happy to answer any questions that you might have about the data or information, or send you more information if you should have it. So thank you so much.